Hello, fellow Voyagers. Jess here with Odyssey Human, here today to talk about believe in yourself and your dreams will believe in you. Welcome to the channel. This is a place where we help you hack through the jungles of consciousness so you can discover the hidden treasures inside of you. My friends, it's all there ready and waiting to be activated by you. If that sounds good, please subscribe. We'd love to have you join us on the channel. We continue to grow, so thank you to subscribers new and old, and to those of you who just like to voyeur. We're glad you're here too. Today's conversation is really about building the momentum of belief, right? And if we kind of use physics and concepts that we know from science, I want to weave them into this concept of gravity with your beliefs, because I think gravity is the hidden force of the universe. I really do. And so if we go back to what are our three capabilities? What are the three things I talk about all the time on this channel? The first one is your language. What are you telling with your story? If you think about it, our language is how we shape time and move through time, right? The minute that I tell you, back in 1673 on a ship out in the Atlantic Ocean, right? That just gave you a sense of time. It put you in the timeline just with a few, literally grunts out of my mouth that meant something to you, and you were able to conjure an image and put yourself in a specific time. Now, so if you think about language as time, that's how we manipulate time with language, right? Often when we're telling stories, they feel like past or present, right? We differentiate, we have different verb tenses to differentiate time. And so our language is part of how we consciously manipulate time as human beings. I think this is my theory. Stick with me. So what's the second one? Attention. Our attention. I talk about this all the time. Where's your attention going? Attention is more in your physiology, right? It's how you're directing your senses. Our attention you can consider as how we are manipulating space. And we do that by, whatever we turn our attention towards is literally what exists in space for us. It is what fills our senses, right? That environment, the person, the place, the thing, whatever we're focusing on fills up our senses, and it crowds out everything else, right? Nothing else exists in space but that which we pay attention to. Think about it. So that's how we manipulate space, is through our attention, our sensory experience, right? The 3D reality experience that we are interacting with. That is in terms of space. We use distance and we judge, by that spatial quality. And that is with attention. That is how we narrow space, select space, focus on space, and thus how we can, in a more transcendent way, manipulate space. What is the bottom of that pyramid that I always teach? The triangle. Is your habits. Your habits. What are your habits? Your habits are the energy you're expending. Our habits, we often have mental and physical habits, things that we just automatically do, right? They're on autopilot. The choices we have already made on autopilot to naturally choose, and we do it so automatically that it's almost invisible to us, right? But it is an expenditure of energy, right? It's literally the outpouring of our essence, of who we have decided to be, what beliefs we've decided to hold, what thoughts we've decided to think, and we anchor ourselves to that, right? To those habits. And that is the expression, that energetic expression of who we are. And I don't mean that in a woo-woo kind of high vibe way. I mean this this is through which we pour literally our caloric energy. Like how we move our muscles, how we move our mind, the behaviors that we perform in these arenas, what we invest our energy into, because we only have so much energy in the day, right, to invest in certain things. And they're mostly into our habits. They're mostly into our habits. But this isn't just a flat 2D triangle. There is an additional aspect of gravity. Gravity. And for those of you who have seen the movie Interstellar, excellent movie with Matthew McConaughey, long movie, but it's all about gravity. Different gravities, moving into the gravity of something, moving out of the gravity, the time warping that happens, like that playing with time of how, the relativity of gravity and time and how they play together. It's a really fascinating movie. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. But, he likens that main character, Cooper, he likens it, gravity, to love. It's an extra dimension, right? That the advanced humans in the film had figured out how to use, manipulate time as a dimension. But I really think the major nugget in this is gravity, because that is the language through which in the movie a lot of messages are communicated using gravity, which is just mind-bending. You try to wrap your mind around it, but follow me here. So when I say believe in yourself and your dreams will believe in you, what is gravity? The gravity is the force, in a very simple definition. Gravity is the force that pulls objects toward each other. Gravity is the force that pulls objects towards each other. And that gravitational pull depends on the mass of the objects, right? And how close they are together. So that gravitational pull, as you get closer to your desire, you feel that. You feel the gravitational pull of it. And I want to propose that, a lot of people say everything is made of love. Love is the fabric of the universe. I really believe it's gravity. Gravity is the fabric of the universe. That pull, because that dark pull of, it's invisible, right? Gravity is invisible. We can't really see it. We can only really see its effects and how different bodies or objects move into relationship with each other. And that gravity is your desires. It is the pull of your desire, the things that you want, the things that your heart wants. And I've talked about this before, of giving into that gravity. Give into the pull of the gravity of your desires, because it's literally a force of nature. That gravity, that's what creates, takes these three capacities that we have as humans and makes it three-dimensional, right? It expands dimensionally through gravity to create this kind of pyramid. And gravity is what allows us to bend space and time, right? To bend our story and to bend space being our attention, to bend them when we succumb to the gravity of the desire, the thing that we really want, the person that we want to be. That is what contorts space and time, right? Because when you put all your attention on the thing that you want, right, it increases in mass. I believe it increases in mass. It gains mass. And you get closer and closer to it. And you can actually build a momentum. You can build a momentum. Kind of like with the movie. They're using the momentum of the gravity of this giant black hole to move through space, to go back and forth through this wormhole, to, check out these other planets. They are leveraging that. And this is how we can go from like 0 to 100 with our desire, because often, we will visit the end state with our desire, but we don't stay there. We are naturally kind of, unconsciously pulled back to something else. We find ourselves again in a state of unfulfillment, even though a few minutes ago, we had a really good visualization, or we really said a mantra that we believed. We'll find ourselves back in the gravity of something else that has been kind of drawing us. It draws us in, and we kind of wake into the awareness of our nearness to that instead of where we actually want to be in space-time. Are you with me here? Are you following? And so gravity, giving into gravity, using the momentum of your desire, using the pull of your desire, let it pull you towards it. Give into it, succumb to it, give yourself completely over to it. Be loyal to it, be faithful to it. That is because that pull, if you don't, like, what are you being pulled towards as an alternative? Usually it's things that we really don't want, and we're constantly trying to escape the gravity of those things instead of giving into the gravity of the most massive, important, wonderful, desirable, scrumptious things that we really want to be thinking about and really want to be drawn into, right? So hold beliefs about yourself that make life easier and improve your quality of life. This isn't just about getting something you want out in 3D. It's actually, I think it's easier to live in the end state of something physical and tangible. I think it's harder to use this on our inner selves, and really clean up, shed ourselves of all the other natural forces that we feel, right? Because we're always in service, right? We're always manipulating time, space, energy, and gravity with our attention, our story, our habits, and then whether that fourth thing, this kind of dark, they talk about dark energy, dark matter, this kind of invisible quantity that is present, that has an effect on the objects in space and time. That's gravity. That's your desire. That is desire. I really believe desire is the fabric of the universe, right? Because when you look at the stars and planets and how they interact with each other, how they move into orbit with each other, the gravity that's like the most massive effect in the universe, I believe. And to me, that's desire. Like, that is desire. How do we not know that those planets are holding in place through the gravity of desire? Like, maybe that is the macrocosm for the microcosm we feel when we feel like, hey, I want to be brave, or I want to be rich, or I want to be in love. That gravity, you feel it. It's like a sixth sense. You feel the effects of gravity. You feel when you move away from your desire, when you get further and further from it and the pull lessens, you feel lost. You feel adrift in space. You feel restless and listless. But as you get closer to it, you can build that momentum and get on a crash course, right, for what you want. And this is how I just wanted to elaborate on this of, circling back to really holding desires, not only for things. It's great if you want to change your external reality, but also your internal reality of succumbing to the gravity of who you want to be as a person. The qualities of you as a person. Are you brave? Are you successful? Are you happy? Are you fun to be around? Does everyone love you? These things that we often have a lot of negative story, the criticism in our head, the attention that we pay to other people's negative comments, or their negativity, or the stuff that annoys us, all of this noise that we can begin to clean up and steady our mind with the gravity of who we want to be. And I found myself this week being very involved with a situation in my life that was very important to me. It had a lot of mass, right? I was very drawn, and you can see when someone is very drawn into the gravity of a situation, they are completely transfixed. Their attention is fixed on that. They're consumed with it, right? They want to find a solution. And what I found is that I counteracted that, getting drawn in I find myself not being able to sleep very well, being distracted, of being worried, of being fearful. What I did was I counteracted with my own gravity, right? I found something more important that had more mass that I could allow to pull me. And that thought was, I can endure just about anything. I can endure just about anything. That thought soothed me. It drew me in. It created a visual for me, right? It engaged my senses, right? My attention went into the visualization. I had that little mantra of the story of the language. I'm shaping time of I can endure just about anything, away from that very present fixation on this is a problem, I got to fix it, oh my God, I got to deal with it right now, that. And so I started to bend space and time, and I actually, in dealing with this problem, I was like, you know what, I want to get away from it and really detach from it. I'm going to go on a drive, and when I get back from this drive, I'm going to feel like a different person. And so the gravity of giving into, while I was on the drive, instead of fixating on the problem, I actually started to fixate on that little story of I can endure just about anything, and appreciating the things that I have been through in my life, the amount of energy and effort and attention and story that I can direct when something is really important to me, right? When it has gravity. It has gravity. It draws me in. I give myself over to it fully, right? Mind, body, soul. That's what it means to be in alignment. You're giving yourself fully in every capacity that you have to your vision, to your goal, to the end state, to where you want to be. And that was what I focused on during my drive. It was a drive that I make many times. I went out and, ran this errand. And literally the transformation I was looking for through the gravity of that, like really stepping into that person just for the drive, just to feel a sense of relief. When I got home, I literally was like, wow, that was like a breath of fresh air. And on the drive home, the email I had been waiting for came to me. It came to me. That email, it gravitated towards me, right? I brought it towards me. And the illusion, the law of attraction, people like to say, oh, we attract things. It's all you. The whole game is you. This is the whole game is you. Through you, for you, by you. You're the one activating it. You are the one interpreting it. You are the one giving it meaning. You're the one giving it attention. It's all you. This is all through you. So this is, these forces of nature are forces of you. And I just wanted to use this analogy today to make you aware of gravity and how to lean more into it, how to lose yourself in the gravity of something in order to get fast results when manifesting, because that is when you're in the sweet spot. When you have given yourself over, mind, body, and soul, to the gravity of your desire and let it pull you in, let it eclipse your attention, let it shape your language, and let it dictate your habits, right? When you do all of that and you accept the gravity of that and you stop fighting against it. And how do we fight against it? We say, oh, it's not here yet, I have to work for it. All these excuses that we use to keep ourselves from something that already exists and is drawing us in. We can build momentum by ignoring that stuff, letting it get farther and farther away, the sound of it getting distant, more and more distant, and letting ourselves be drawn in fully, completely by our desires until we collide with them, become one with them. We become one. The oneness is then the effect of that gravity, the final gravity, right? So I hope this was helpful to you. Drop me a note, leave me a message. I'm happy to engage. If you need a tool to help you consistently make your mind a more peaceful, happy, wonderful place, I have it in the description box. It's always available to you. It will be available for infinity on this channel because it is the tool I use to transform my entire life. So grab it below. It is always free. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.